Hey, Renee.
Hey,
How's it going?
all good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys too.
Hey, David. How's it going? And Steven, how's it going?
Doing good.
Good. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for jumping on. Thanks for taking the time, everybody.
problem.
I'm going to go ahead and just get started here in the next minute. So awesome. Yeah, so people will be trickling in. And as they do, we'll go ahead and welcome them and get them right in. But the first thing I want to do is just get started with the agenda, why we're doing this, and how we want to continue to build out this webinar. I think the big thing is we're welcome to feedback always. So after, please, we send out a feedback request to everybody to just make sure that this is the best use of your time, because we all know that everybody's really busy. And again, thanks everyone for jumping on. What we want to do to make this most useful is really just for today's agenda. The main part of the agenda is just going into the Moovs product and having a discussion around the features, how to best use certain features, and how to think about things in terms of for your business and your workflows. And secondly, just discuss some of the upcoming feature updates. And then at the end, just keeping it conversational. And then I think at the end, we can also just, have any questions around the product or anything around that. And also, I think the one thing that I do want to bring up right now before we jump in is the Facebook group that we've had, that we're actually going to be getting more involvement around because of our new community manager, Michael. So what I want to do real quickly is send everybody the link here in the Zoom chat, and then we'll also send this through an email. And this is our Moovs Facebook group. And what I really want to do here is just have everybody be a part of this. I think it's a nice way to put a face to the name and just, welcome each other, talk about the, issues that you're facing. We'll talk about industry related news, and then even a way to meet other operators to farm out or receive farm-in rights. Because I know that's one, huge feature that we have that, again, we can always discuss in detail. So yeah, that's the group, that's the agenda. I think what I'd love to do is just jump right into the Moovs product. And with that, what I'd love to do is even just field, I think I want to try something and just field some questions around Moovs right now, if there's any specific questions. If not, then I can just start using the product and really go through some of the things. But before I really jump in, yeah, is there anyone that has something that's top of mind in Moovs? I know I see a lot of new users. I see some users that have been with us for months. So really open to anyone's perspective here. Let's see, am I sharing the right screen? Everyone can see my Moovs account, my test environment. I have no reservations today. Do I have any closed ones? Nope. Okay. So I'll just go ahead and get started. Obviously, my account here, this is the development account that we use as our engineers and product team are working. I think some things that you'll just see right now that I can just point out as we start to get in is we're updating some of the calendar and time features. So as you can see here, in terms of range, we now have a new custom range selector here. So as you can see, there's like a new way to select custom ranges in your reservations and your dispatch screen. I think why this is important, right, is like a lot of us who are working in weeks or months, I think it's really cool to sometimes see your trips over, like, say, the month span. And so if I can pull up here, my state, there we go. So here I can see all my dispatch rides for October. And as you can see here, I filtered it by the custom range. And then I think that's something to note always, that this range also can be used here for reservations. And so reservations open, reservations closed. I think one thing I want to highlight there for everybody is to making sure that you are always closing out your reservations. It's super important for driver payouts and for invoicing, because what happens if you don't is you're not going to be able to invoice that job if you want to invoice it, and you won't be able to process the driver payroll. And so you can see here that you can also have access to all the trips, and we'll show you through the closed indicator here that the trip is closed or it's open. So I'm going to go ahead and click my open trip here and just look at some of the details that we have here. I think one cool thing that we're, some minor modifications, but you're going to start to see this flag. I know you guys all requested this, and the engineering and product team has come out and added flags, what we call, to all the trips. So these are like trip types, we call them. So now you have one way, round trip, and hourly. So if I go ahead now, I want to show everyone an hourly. So let's build a trip real quick here. What you'll see here now is this is in testing, so we're going to see, but we've updated keyboard entry for date and time. So what you see here now is you can actually just type in your, let's say, what pickup date are we going to say? We have 12/04/2021, and then 12 p.m. And then we also can open up the calendar here and navigate to the date as well, and still use this calendar feature as well. And then we can, again, go back in here and update this to 12/15, right? So this is something that's good. I know a lot of people have requested and have had issues with the time selector for that icon selector. So now we have here a way to input the date and time through a keyboard. And then, so I'm going to quickly now, let's say, get picked up at the Staples Center, and we're going to go to Malibu Wines.
I do have a quick question about that.
Yeah.
One issue that I've run into, and that happens on on the clients end. Now, is there a way for the clients to request a round trip, especially from the airport, on their end?
Yeah, let's actually, I love it. I think what I'll do is I'm just going to build this hourly trip, and then let's go and show everyone how that works. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think that's really important, because I think what's happening is I think I'm losing a lot of business because clients want to book a round trip, and them going straight to the website, they see it one way, they get confused and say, let me go elsewhere.
Yep. Okay. So let me just go ahead and quickly finish building this trip. And then I think just the one thing I'll highlight here is obviously everyone here sees that we have this hourly. So if we want to charge by hour, I can click this base rate automation. I did just move pretty quickly, so I'll slow down there. So basically, for everyone here to know, I really like this feature, because what you can do here is you can use our base rate automation, right? And for those of you who don't know what this uses your vehicle's rates. So right in your vehicles, you can set up base rate automation. So you can set up your transfer and your hourly pricing. And then what happens in the Moovs product when you turn on the base rate automation is that it can start to calculate the pricing for you and save you, time and effort in calculating rates. So for example, when we have that base rate automation on for this Lincoln limo, and I set myself up for a trip, right? So I have a 12:15 pickup and then the 6 o'clock end time, 6:15 end time. If I switch to hourly, right, and I click this, it already updated it to 106 hours, right? And that's what the vehicle's base hourly rate is. And then it knows 6 hours because we set the start time and the end time.
Amir.
Yeah.
So the problem is, like I'm just running into it today. For instance, this is Joe. I had a client go on and he wanted a wedding transfer at 11 p.m. on Saturday night in a Cadillac Escalade. well, we don't do transfers unless it's an airport, but we don't do transfers like wedding transfers. We have a 3 hour, we have a minimum. And when he went in and built the trip out, it came out to $190, and he wanted me to, accept that rate. And I said, unfortunately, I can't. We have a, minimum. And the reason why he got that rate is because he plugged it in as just a transfer. He didn't choose hourly.
Yep.
And he probably, and he did time, or the system automatically calculated the end time because of the distance. Therefore, he only got a transfer rate. He didn't get an hourly rate. So my solution to this moving forward is where you could go into the back end of the vehicle and specify which vehicle can do what on weekends. So, i.e., a Cadillac Escalade can do a wedding transfer, but under wedding transfer selection, you would be able to put 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever your minimum is going to be. That way, if the person chooses wedding, then they're going to get the hourly rate. If they choose airport, they're going to get an airport rate. If they choose concert, they're going to get an hourly rate. If they choose dinner out, they're going to get an hourly rate. Right. See, the problem is people are going in and plugging this information in just like you did. But if they don't choose the hourly, they're not going to get an hourly rate. They're going to get a transfer rate. Now, that being said, I have had some reservations, and I don't know how the people booked it, but to our benefit, they are paying a ton of money, but not a lot of people put the end time because you have to click on that little icon to add that additional information. Unless, let me be corrected, when they first book, they do have the choice of hourly or transfer. If they pick hourly, they get to choose how many hours they want. Yes, I get that. But some people don't even see that, and therefore they get a transfer rate. Like this guy, I just conversed with him and said, look, I'll do it for 300. It's still too much money for him.
Yep.
But
got it.
That is what it is.
Yep. And I think what I'll do right.
You have point to point.
Yep. Sorry, someone was.
Well, even at point.
Yeah, this is the heat.
But even at point to point, you're going to have a minimum.
Yeah,
I know, but the thing is, you're going to have a minimum.
Hour and distance.
Yeah, but you're talking a wedding transfer at 11 p.m. on a Saturday night. You got, your drivers. I mean, I got drivers. I mean, my driver's not going to step up.
Have all this. That's why you got to have an option of after hours and mileage and so on. The stuff that needs to be added. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
the thing is, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Joe, I think one of the things so that we can kind of have a good constructive conversation, right? Because this is something that we're always thinking about is how everybody prices, right? And I think to what you're saying, right? So I just pulled up everybody the vehicle pricing for that we have here, and we have transfer rates and we have hourly rates, right? And so
correct.
Hourly rates times hourly minimum is always the minimum of the vehicle, and then we have the deadhead duration. And then in terms of transfer, Joe, this is what you're talking about. You're saying that you have a transfer rate in your system, but for a wedding at 11 p.m., it should be higher, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Got it. And so if someone wants to,
but I have the vehicle.
Yep.
But I have the vehicle set under Escalade. I have the hourly minimum set. So therefore, and it says on your system weekend and weekday. So Saturday's a weekend. So it should have automatically converted to an hourly instead of a transfer. He should not even be able to see a transfer rate. It should have automatically converted to an hourly rate. And then we could have had a discussion about.
Yep. And I like that. I think that's good feedback that we can discuss with operators, with our product team, is thinking about, right? Like you're saying, you would not want to have transfer rates on weekend nights, for example. Like I only do hourly minimums, right? Is that
especially at 11 p.m. Yeah, 11 p.m. a wedding. I mean, I'd have to pay a driver, 2 hour minimum. And with these drivers wanting more money, that'd be $60. So if I do 190,
Yep.
I'm only making $110 on a, $100,000 vehicle.
Got it.
So, I'm saying, so what I was saying is, if you go into back end, and what do y'all call those? What is it at the top where you get the choose airport pickup and drop off? What's that called?
The customer app or the
Whatever, the selection.
the order type.
Yeah, the order type. So what I was thinking is, in the back end, if you were able to go into your order type and specifically say, okay, it would be in the vehicle, and you'd say, okay, Escalade, airports, yes. Dinner runs must be an hourly. Wedding must be an hourly. Concerts must be an hourly. And have that option, because that way the system should automatically say, okay, this guy's choosing an Escalade. He said he wants a wedding transfer. So the system's automatically going to say, okay, that's going to be a minimum hourly charge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
One of the things that we can do, Joe, is that I think separately is think about what is the outcome. I think the desired outcome is always interesting way to think about it, because what we don't want to do is build the system a certain way and then customers then start to, use a system against you, right? Because then they can,
No, but the operator has the option to either allow that vehicle to do a transfer at whatever rate he has set, or operator has the ability to disallow a transfer. So it's not working against you, because the operator, in essence, is setting the parameter, saying, yes, I'll allow this vehicle to do a transfer. So therefore, the customer will get a transfer rate. If he has hourly checked, then they're only going to get an hourly rate. They're not going to get a transfer rate. So the operator has that ability to allow his vehicle to do whatever they want to do. See what I'm saying?
Yep. So I think now, just for everyone's
So
context.
the desired outcome will be what the operator is ultimately looking for. But the thing is, this guy, he was like, well, I'll just catch an Uber Black. I said, good luck. It ain't going to be in a Cadillac Escalade. It ain't going to be a dressed chauffeur. It ain't going to have a bottle of champagne either. But that's how my price point works. So, but he was wanting me to do it 190, honor that 190. And I said, I can't, I just can't do that. Unfortunately, the system allows you to get a transfer rate, and it should have not been a transfer rate. And I even sent him a screenshot of the back end where I have it set for an hourly charge.
Yep. So here, I think what I'm going to do now is I pulled up the customer app here, and I think as for everyone to see here, this is the customer booking experience. And I think one of the things that we do differently for the customer booking experience is that we have the customer select, right? If they want an hourly, which then they would have to define a duration, right? So if they want to have, like, say, some chartering experience, whether it's for a wedding, a corporate event, or just a night out. And then we have one way, right? And I think the context here, that I think we have 2 points here, one around Joe's, how pricing is calculated, and then I forgot the gentleman at the beginning's name, but he mentioned the issue with round
point
trip.
to point.
Yeah, with round trip. Yeah, round trip. And so, I think one of the things that we can see happen here as we continue to, I want to show the round trip and how we have it built right now and what happens with customers today. So we can have, let's say,
Okay.
Wait, Amir, a quick question for you.
Yeah.
So is there any way to make those icons for the pickup, make those icons stand out more to the customer, to the client?
Yeah.
I like that.
Because the problem that I'm having is they'll order an airport run, but they won't press the part of the airplane button, and so therefore they're not entering in their flight information, where they're coming from and stuff like that. All their information is just they're coming from the airport. So is there any way to make that stand out more to the client? Because I actually just had that happen today. They ordered a pickup for a Saturday evening, and I had no idea where they're coming from. And I guess on our end, it makes it look like we don't have our stuff together if we have to now go back to the client after they booked online and kind of explain to them that, hey, I need your flight information, and that may end up changing the pricing.
Yep. Got it. That's a really good one. I think so I just actually I'm taking notes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this to the product team, and let them know like a better way for clients for the booking experience here, so that the flight and address selectors are defined. And that's definitely something we can improve. I can already see like that just looking at these icons can be confusing for a customer. And I think one of the things that we did in this release, that we're doing in this release as well, I know this was a huge requested feature. I know Vahid, who's on the call, had mentioned this to us, and a lot of other operators as well. So we were hard at work at fixing this booking experience for customers, is the flight information input. So what I'm going to try here is I'm trying to hope this is the right flight. So I'm going to try 515. And so
And while you're doing that, Amir, I think a fix for the what this gentleman's talking about is if you have the system automatically recognize the airport. So if they put DFW or LAX, then boom, the system says, whoa, we need flight information.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So as you can see here, right, like what we fixed, Vahid, I know you've been requesting this, is a lot of operators. So let's say like they've gotten to airport, customer puts 515, and then they keep going. The system wasn't saving that. So now we've built this new feature here, this new update, where anytime customers enter a flight info and you leave the field, we're automatically going to do the search for them. And then to pop up like the flight that's coming. So like an example here could be, another one would be, let's say British Airways. And then here I would type British Airways. And then we even give them that error, as you guys saw. So like now that it's very clear to the customer, see, like the customer didn't have to do anything. If they just type their flight number and they leave, we're now saving this into the system for the customer. And then
I like that. That's perfect.
Yeah, this one, like I think you guys are going to really like, especially if you're doing airport pickups, and it's going to now like guarantee that the customer gives you a flight information. But I think still there's getting them to get here is also a good feature request. So that's something that we can, I'll let the product team know, is that if someone comes here, right, like Joe, and I didn't get your name, so I apologize. Because
it's Derek.
Derek, nice, Derek.
I did have another suggestion real quick. I've talked to Noel about this.
Yeah.
One other thing that could happen is if they put in the information and it gets to the vehicle part. Say for instance, if they need a 5 o'clock in the afternoon pickup, but the vehicle that they want is already out on the hourly, and the hourly doesn't end till 6:30. That vehicle will not pop up when it says choose vehicle.
Yep. So for that feature, what we're working on, because what happens there is, so I think just to quickly touch on that, what you're mentioning is that you want to have live vehicle availability on your customer booking tool.
Correct.
So,
yeah, but that's hard to do. That's hard to do, because if they don't book and you have an affiliate that you can work with, then you just lost a potential customer because they won't allow them to book. So you just go ahead and let them book, and then you just have to try to farm it out. I mean, that's my suggestion. But
yeah, no, and I think one of the things like what we're doing is that operators have different, right? Like running your business, we want you to have the freedom to run your business the way you want. And so we are thinking about a feature where we can enable, right? So like Joe wants to farm out, right? So we can have Joe's vehicle still show up, and then we can also have Derek's, right? His vehicle turning on his vehicle availability, and then it actually would filter out from the display if someone's trying to book it.
Yeah, because I think for me with that issue is kind of like I guess an issue just for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm here in Houston and there are no other operators here in Houston.
Yeah.
So there's really nobody for me to kind of farm out to here in Houston.
Exactly.
Well, you can. What you do, Derek, is you go into Moovs affiliate and you set up a non-affiliate. That way you have it in there and you can still farm it out. I farm out to people that don't even use Moov. You just have to go in there and build it yourself, you know, and they'll still get an email. They'll still get a text message. You can put their driver information in there, or you can say who would be the driver. You can go in quickly and enter that in your driver profile, go into their affiliates, page and add that driver associated with that affiliate. So if they say it's Joe driving, in that particular affiliate, you'll only have a list of Joe, John, and Jim, and you can pick which driver they say it's going to be the driver, and then that driver will receive the Moovs driver app notification. So yes, you can still farm out even though they're a non-Moovs affiliate. You just have to go in there and build it up yourself.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And so, yeah, I think the just
Now, how
to
about the round trip? I'm sorry, Mir, we kind of jumped. You were doing a round trip. I
Yeah.
think when they book their initial reservation, I think something should pop up and say, by the way, do you need a return or something, something funny like that, or may we book your return for you?
Yep.
And then that's when I have talked about when they click that, it just reverses everything, and all they have to do is put their flight time, date, and flight information, and boom, it's done. So
Yep, exactly. So I wanted to show you guys that real quick and what we have right now. And then this is something that that I'm going to take as feedback as well, because we don't have it for reservations. Okay. So just to show you guys real quick, what we have today is, of course, you have vehicles where you have base rate automation on. A lot of our operators are using that. A lot of our operators just also like to just not have their rates displayed, and they'll just use this, what we call quote process. So currently today in the quote process, what I want to show you is that we do have a way to add trips. So like if I'm just going to quickly make this request in the system, what you'll see is that this quote request goes through, and look here to the right, a customer can actually start building their trip. So you see here, add a trip to your order. So now what they can do is they can like add their return trip for this, right? So then they say on the 7th, right? And then they enter their details here, and then their passenger count and maybe notes. And then here they would select their vehicle. And then now I would do is add this trip. And now actually what just happened is now look, now they have 2 trips as part of the quote request. So if this is important, right, today, what I would encourage you to do is you could turn off base rate automation, right? Receive the quote request, and the customers will actually start building this. We've seen this with other operators working really successfully. We've even seen customers build a whole wedding, 10 trips they've built without you having to talk to them. So what you can do now is then you go back to your Moovs application. So this reservation H2E9. And then I go here into my quotes, and here it is. Look, the customer built 2 trips, right? And then now obviously you would process the next steps, right? So we can assign pricing, right? And so forth, and really process this reservation. I would encourage you, if you do have airport trips, to try this out to see if it does increase your like return requests, because we've seen it work with other operators. And of course, open to feedback to adding it to reservations. Just real quickly, the hard thing about adding it to reservations, the challenge when adding it to reservations is just going to be the same thing around timing and price, which becomes something that we haven't built yet. So what we're building soon before that is going to be a way for the system. So let me just quickly go and here show everybody this feature that we have here. Is we see how we have here a base rate automation cutoff period. It's a lot of words, but I'm going to explain what this means. So for every operator who has base rate automation on, you can turn on a time delay of the pickup date and time where you don't want to receive reservations. So this has happened to almost most of our operators, where they'll get a reservation the same day, and then they don't have vehicle availability, and then farming it out is really stressful, finding a driver. So they'd rather have like an 8-hour delay from pickup date and time to where it displays pricing. So that's happened today. What we're building next, which will now be able to align nicely with this add trip feature for reservation, is actually confirming a reservation. So what happens a lot today is operators send out a quote, the customer sits on it, and then the day of, they're going to come and reserve it. And then you're like, wait a sec, I don't have this, and this pricing is off. So a feature that we're working on is going to be reservation cutoff. So reservation cutoff will actually work by allowing, again, a time lapse of when a customer can confirm a reservation, and then we'll be able to use that for your trips. So everyone can now control, you know what, a customer can add as many trips as they want to their reservation, but I am going to allow 24 hours, right? Maybe Joe does less. Maybe, right, everyone can now control that add trip functionality. So customers don't just start adding trips to reservations the same day. So
You saying that we have
coming.
to
Go ahead.
Are you saying that we have to turn off the base automation in order for the rest of that to come in?
So for a customer to add trip today, it has to be on a quote. And the only way to get a quote, right, there's two ways. You can have this period will enable quoting. And then also on your vehicles, you have to turn on, like, see how these are all like on,
Right.
like this one, since I have base rate automation off, the
Right.
customer booking tool will always prompt a quote. So it'll always show add trip, like that need request add trip feature.
Okay, so basically just turn it off. So then that way you really don't have to worry about the pricing of it. It's just that when they ask for it, then you can bill them after they make their reservation. Then you can tell them how much it is.
So I'll show you that process. It's actually before, because what happens, Stephen, is that a customer comes, like this customer, Amir, and he just put in 2 trips. And then you're
Right.
going to actually receive a text and an email that says
Right.
like, hey, Stephen, you got a quote request. And then you can now come into this quote and assign pricing, like I said, like I did. So it's 125 flat. And then on this one, I'm going to do 125 flat, right? Then what I do is I can go here, right? And then I can send the quote to the customer. So I'm going to go ahead and click send. Now, once this status is sent, Stephen, what really is nice in Moovs is that we can prompt. So the customer now would come back. So they would click click the link. And then now they come back to this and they see the reservation that's ready to be confirmed that you just processed, right? So now the customer sees all of this, right? They'll see the trip 1, trip 2 that they requested. And then over here on the right-hand side, they'll see like detailed pricing as they click trip 1. So like the driver gratuity, that's the selected from down here. So like 15 or 20, if they're feeling really good.
They get to do that themselves.
They do all this themselves. Exactly.
So we don't have to put the 20% or 8.97%.
No, they'll do this for themselves. But
Okay.
Stephen,
But you got, but you got to turn that off in your vehicle, in your pricing. You got to delete tipping if you already have it in there, because if it's in there, it's automatically going to put 20%.
yep. So let me just
Oh
go
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay, so another one,
Thanks,
yeah. The part right here, if you can see this, where we had the item, you completely turn that off.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
or you just delete it. You
Yeah.
delete tip in your automatic in your auto pricing, and
Okay.
then Moovs their tipping option kicks in. So
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is it. Okay, I see that.
Yep. Like if you could, a lot of operators want to just add the grat auto at the beginning. That's okay. Right. But there's also a lot of operators that, I mean, again, you can argue the better customer experience, like let them choose. And so you can do both in Moovs, right? So then now there's a version of it where you already added the gratuity. So I just updated it, Stephen, where I
Right.
updated the gratuity. Look, the gratuity selector's gone, right? Like I can't change the gratuity because I already auto gratted it for the customer,
Right.
right?
But you want the customer to do that. We don't need to do that. That's better for them if they want to
I mean,
give
it's
a
your
tip or not.
preference. That's your preference. Like we
well,
Moovs-
that's your preference. But the thing is, they're tipping before the experience. So if they just want to be cheap, they'll just put 15%, and that's all you're going to get. But
Right.
if you give them superior, A1 plus MX Platinum service,
Next thing
you're
you know
only
that
getting 15.
Yeah.
You're only getting 15%. So
Yeah. And I'll show
Okay.
you there's a way to do that today through Moovs as well, as you can add add gratuity after as well. But in this flow, what's really great, Stephen, and I think just this is for everyone. One of the things that we should all, for best business practices, is we should stop collecting credit card information over a phone. We should not collect it over an email. We should always send customers to put their
The payment
credit
link.
card information in at their
let them do it. Yeah.
let them do it. I can't tell you guys thousands of dollars we've prevented from fraudulent and disputes. We've won thousands of dollars in disputes because of operators who practice this best practice. We're always blessed that like, but then when you come to us and we ask you, like, you're dealing with a dispute and we're like, how did you collect the credit card? And then you tell us phone call, now it's going to be really tough because you entered their credit card in and now you're part of the fraudulent transaction.
The
Fraudsters, yeah, the fraudsters are smart these days, so just be careful.
Yeah, but all due respect though, Admir, I've had clients put their credit card information in, and when I go to run it, it gives me an error, and it's either
they've done it too.
zip
Yeah.
So it's really, it's not a foolproof. Trust me.
Yeah.
I've been down that road.
Yep. And then I think just to tell you guys, the reason that this happens actually is it's the customer's bank. So a lot of your customers are probably banking with more sophisticated banking solutions. So when they come and enter their credit card information here, and we as operators receive errors, it's that the customer's bank is denying the transaction. And there's nothing we can do there until the customer confirms that transaction. I think everybody here might have had that happen to them outside of transportation, like when you're trying to make a purchase and it gets declined. So you have to contact your bank when there's a first-time transaction to allow that transaction to go through, right? So we can't control how the customer's bank controls the attempted charge. That's really just on the customer's bank. So
how do we get to that again? Sorry, how do we get to that again? The part where it had a gratuity and all that stuff on, because I'm trying to do it off my
preference.
Preference. Yeah. So here's settings, preferences, and then here you can have like your own auto.
Yeah. Damn it.
Yeah.
Excuse my language.
No worries. So then that, and then also, Stephen, you can update it by quote. So like I updated it actually just here, down here, and add pricing. You can just already add the certain pricing fields that you want to display on the quote.
Okay, so it's kind of like Joe would say, it does show up. You have it showed up for 15, 20, or what? How much percent do you go for?
15, 18, 20.
Yeah, here, I'm going to show you again. Let me delete gratuity off both.
All right.
And then now it should.
It's 15, 18, or 20.
So here it is, 15, 18, 20. Then there's a cash option and a custom option.
Okay, yeah, I'll turn that off. I'll go with you guys because I don't have to put no booking fee or none of that. So I turn that, when it says enable amount due on driver app, I turn that off.
So that's different. So enable driver amount due. A lot of our companies who have party buses, they want their drivers on the driver app to see the amount due. That's because they collect cash.
So leave that on.
Yeah, so it's up to you, right? Like some operators don't want their drivers to know the amount due on a trip. Some operators do, so that's why we made it a toggle. So again, your preference there.
Yeah, okay.
So what I do is I do base rate. I do my base rate, 20% gratuity, 14% admin fee.
Admin.
So admin fee covers my gas, tolls. Hey man, people are paying, baby.
Oh, I'm knowing. Where are you at?
I'm in
Dallas.
California.
He's in Dallas.
Oh, good Lord have mercy.
I'm killing it. I just booked a sedan for 5.5 hours for $919. Hello.
Oh my God, I put 8.97%.
Wow. So just to keep going, guys, I want to show you.
Ask to receive.
I want to show you guys what happens, Stephen, on the customer app. Right. So now what the customer does is, like, again, let the customer enter the information here, right? Mm-hmm. So they'll enter all their card information, right? And then what happens is it's just a reservation process. Again, every operator does this differently. Some operators like to collect payment right away. Some operators don't. So we leave this to just save the credit card. So what happens now is the credit card gets captured in your Moovs platform, right? And what you can now do in your Moovs platform is manage that reservation and that card. So if I go back to Moovs now, I can go to that contact. Let me just make sure, who was this? Amir. So let me see. You'll see the credit card right here. And I think what gets missed a lot as a team is the power that you have around this credit card feature. because what you can do here is you can edit and view the information here. And also you're able to update the zip code and expiration month and year. So that's super powerful as well. So in the case that the zip code fails, you can come in here and you can change the zip code.
Right.
Right. Save. And then the information gets updated there. And then now what you have is in that reservation that we just made. So let's say the H2 B9, right? So now we have a couple options, right? So again, I encourage us as a team. So the second thing here, you should never collect credit card information over the phone, right? Or email. Let the customer give us their credit cards. Now, the second thing, which is a release that we had about a month ago to even increase your prevention of disputes and fraudulent charges, we built this, which again, I encourage all operators to use when it makes sense. Of course, if you get an ASAP and you want to charge the full amount right away, you can go to charge customer and charge this amount, right? Cool.
How about pre-authorization?
Pre-authorization, we don't have yet, but we encourage the payment link for that. So that's where I'll show that next. I think one quick thing before I show.
But that's not a pre-authorization though.
No, it's
That's a
different.
full charge.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. There's pre-authorization and there's full charge. We have full charge to just guarantee that the payment is not fraudulent, and then you've collected the balance.
That's fine and dandy, but the thing is, sometimes we do runs for affiliates and we just want to do a pre-authorization. So if the total reservation's $900, we want to pre-authorize for $1,200 just in case there's any incidents or overage, and then that way we've already got the approval, and then once the run's completed and it's $1,000, we can just hit it for $1,000.
Yep.
So-
No, that's good. I think that's definitely something, like, as we're getting into affiliates, paying affiliates and moves, that's something that we're actually working on.
I'm not even
So-
talking about that. I mean, that could be a customer too. So
And then, so one thing just to show everyone here, I know that we've been waiting for, that's coming soon, is this, is some of the, like, the ability to charge full amounts versus, I know before we had we weren't able to charge like a dollar amount. So now if you have a reservation for $295, you can charge any amount that you want on that reservation. So we can
Yeah,
actually.
because the cents do come through what was one 1,808.24 cents. I was like, huh?
Yeah, exactly. So now you can just do the full amount rather than just a percentage. And again, back to what I was saying around the payment link. So here in the payment link, what's important is that we have our customers pay, because again, that prevents disputes, that prevents fraudulent transactions. Again, we've had customers today that sent this payment link, and then when they actually went to pay, not when they added their credit card, it's flagged it as a fraudulent activity in the product. So
yeah.
Hey, Joe, will you go on mute, please?
Yep. Hey, Joe.
I've had it. Yeah.
We can hear you, Joe.
Let me get on this Zoom call. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You want to go on mute, Joe?
No, I'm want to keep talking about. I
Okay.
mean, this payment, that's all good and fine and dandy. The trip types, when you do a return, it says airport drop off. When you do a return, a round trip, it says airport drop off instead of pickup. Those things need to be fixed. What else can I go? I mean, I can go on and on if you want me to.
Nope.
I know you don't have that time, but
So real quick, what I was showing everybody is this payment link, right? So getting your customers to use this payment link, we've already saved thousands of dollars in fraudulent transactions because it's the customer that ends up paying. So anytime you get a customer to pay, you're going to decrease your costs of operating. So the way that this works today is you can use here to copy the payment link or down here to copy the link. And now what happens is this link is copied to your device. So let's say if you're using a phone, you copy it, and then you can go into the Moovs chat and send this to anyone. So here you can just be like, hey, please complete your payment, right? And then you send that link. And then you could also email it in your own email, right? If you have Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, whatever you have, you can send that email with the payment link. And then now what happens when a customer opens this payment link is obviously super powerful.
Hey,
They'll click here, right? And then this is now the safest way to collect money, contactless payment from your customer. And now they'll come here, they can actually log in. So if they log in, they get access to that credit card. Yeah, I could see if I have a login on this account. Let's see. If I don't, it's fine. Okay.
I'd also text it to their personal cell phone number if you have it in your contacts on your phone, because if you use the Moovs chat, it uses Moovs chat's number, like some odd number, and they don't recognize
It's
it.
a
I
562
get a lot
number.
of, yeah, I get a lot of them text me back, is Joe, is this you, or who is this? And I'm like,
Yeah. A lot of our operators have their own business lines, and then a lot of operators port over their business lines. I think if you prefer to run your business through your own mobile device, I think that's totally fine as well. I think every operator likes to think about this differently.
Yeah.
So here you would then enter the credit card information, right, as a customer. So if my name is Jeff, and then now, like, if I can process a new card, and then now I'm actually paying for this reservation. And then now again, this is the most secure way, because now you have the customer who processed the payment. You don't have to do it for them, which reduces fraudulent activity and saves you on all your disputes.
And basically just letting your customer know you, in a nice way, you'd have to put your own payment in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, you would send them the payment link, right? And like, if they already have, right? Like, so one of the things you can do is, like in there here in like contacts,
Your
you
profile,
have,
yeah.
right? So like if I pull up Amir, right? Amir already has, right, an account. And so Amir could just log in. So if I change this to my login, the customer, so Amir in this case, can actually log in and I'll get access to my credit cards, right? So I don't even need to enter it in again, right? So you can ask the customer, right? And you're in the communication, like if you're the one that's paying, because this is always what's tough, who's paying. But if booking contact is actually also paying with the credit card they already saved, then of course you could tell them to log in. So then if they go back to that payment link, right? See if this 935555 send code, right? And then here I get the code, and then 648528, 648528. Now the customer has a secure, they're in their portal, right? And then if they were paying, see, like there's their credit cards right there. And then if they were paying for that payment link, their cards would show up. So then they don't have to enter it in again. They just select it and pay.
Okay.
Yep.
This is good. Everything's not smooth the first time out, you know what I mean? But
Yep.
I personally, best software right now is top of the line.
Thank you.
No
Thank you. Thank you. The engineering and product team work really hard for you guys. It's super important for us to continue to get your feedback. And so I think would love to now, like the last, 5 to 8 minutes, any other comments. I want to open it up for anyone else who has anything that's top of mind or anything that we can go through. Yeah, just go ahead and unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and ask any questions.
Unmute, how do you unmute?
Hi, my name is Antoine Ralston. I'm in Kansas City, and I'm enjoying this session as well as just using this app. My customers just feel like it's so cool because it's easy access and makes us seem a little bit more professional, So I appreciate that. A couple of things that I've wondered why this app did not have are two things. One, I think it would really be cool if your return customers' addresses could some kind of way be saved, so that when they go back in, or when you go back in, because a lot of my people call and they book, direct, like, hey, put me down, and that's what we do. But then you gotta go find their address and put it in all over again, stuff like that. So it's kind of be cool if when you pull up their names, that their addresses would automatically fill in as well.
Well, you have to copy and paste it, put it in their contacts. So you have to do it yourself. like their first reservation, you just copy their address and then go to their contacts and add it in, and it'll always be there. You can set it as office or home. But I see what you're saying though. Once they first make a reservation, it should automatically go into their contacts.
Right. And then the second thing is, it'd be cool for my drivers is that that when you go into the airport, that you could just push sign, and that a sign would be created within the app.
Yep. That
Is
one.
there,
Yeah, that one would be, that's something that I did, might have been like a week or two ago that either you or someone actually had requested that. We've gotten that
Yeah.
request a few times, and that's something that the product team is working on. I think
Oh, okay.
I've seen some early versions of it, and basically on the driver app, when it's an airport ride, you can click a button and then it'll just show the, like on your phone, it'll just turn into a screen with the name of the trip contact. Is that what you were talking about?
Exactly. Exactly.
The product team is working on that one. I've seen some early prototypes of that. Yep.
Okay. Awesome.
is there wait time?
Wait time. So when you say wait time, just to be clear, you're saying like when you're closing a trip, or
No, when you actually pull up to the client and just say their time was at 8 o'clock, and here it is, 8:20. So
They
after
just-
8 o'clock, you push that button, it gives you that wait time because they're paying for that wait time.
yeah. So yeah, let me just show you that real quick. And I just wanted to is Antoine, right? Was that you were just asking about the saving the addresses?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's here. Oh, sorry. In contacts, like Joe mentioned, all your contacts have two addresses that can be saved. So a home address and a work address. Right now, this only works inside the operator app. So you have access to this when you build a reservation for Fred. So so if I go and build a reservation for Fred, let's see if it comes up here, Fred, I should be able to go to this address.
Boop,
See that?
up. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is cool. This should save you some time, but your feedback and your request is not, you're not alone there. We've heard that before, where all addresses should just save on its own. Right now, you just have to do the saving in the contact for them.
That's just more work. No.
Yeah. So there's that. And then I wanted to show this process of wait time, right? And I just to show you guys our new closeout experience is actually taking that into consideration a little bit more. So if I can just edit this trip date and change this to today, so I can close this trip. So here's what happens now when you close a trip. This is extremely helpful for wait time. A couple things are happening here. It's pulling a pickup a date and time and the drop off date and time of what was originally input by the customer. Now, whether it's you or you have a team that closes out these trips, you'll confirm, let's say, the pickup date and time and the drop off date and time, right? What's going to be more powerful here is that when the drivers are actually running this. So let me just show you guys real quick what should be happening if a driver is assigned and doing this the right way. So let's just say I'm going to assign Dev, and I'm going to go into the driver app as Dev, and I'm going to process this trip, right? So imagine now I'm the driver here. I'm going to accept the ride. I'm going to move to confirmed, and then on the way, on location, right? And then done, mark done. Now, if your driver is doing this correctly, right? So I think, Stephen, as you mentioned, like whether you're the driver or the driver says that the start time, right, was not 12:30. It was, let's just say for our context, it was 12:43, right? Or let's just say 12:49, right? And then also here, they're going to leave you a comment that says, customer, customer threw up in the car, right? So now the driver's closed out the trip. So whether that's you or your driver, so that then when you come back into the Moovs application, you'll obviously see all of the appropriate updates. And one of my favorite features being the dispatch log, you'll see all of the information here, right? So, Dev put on location at 12:57, right? And then here he marked, you know, his pickup and drop off, and then he added us a driver note. So then now we also get access to this here. If we close out the trip, look, now you have access to what the driver marked. So the driver marked 12:49 as the pickup date and time, right? So then now it's up to you, right, in terms of wait time and how you want to run your process here. You can update the pickup date and time in here to be 12:49, right? So then you can now accurately charge your wait time. Or some operators say give 30-minute windows. So then it's like, okay, we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and just confirm. And then, you know, even here, like add an internal note, didn't charge for wait time. And then now you can officially close the trip, right?
Okay, so then when you charge that wait time, the wait time is charged on the preference. That's where that extra thing is. You can put in and say wait time, then that's when you're charging.
And then so to now, if you, let's just say we're going to do this again for charging. So like the way you would, the process there would then be like, if you're now 12:30 to 12:49, right? You can either adjust this to 12:49, right? So you can confirm with the driver that we're going to have a pickup time of 12:49. And then charging, let's say we're going to charge $100 for wait time. Now what we do is we go and modify the reservation pricing, because now we want to reflect that wait time, right? So what we do is we go ahead here into pricing, and this is where all of our pricing lives. And then what I encourage all operators to do, to be transparent with your customer, you have 3 other fields. And so let's just select one of them, the first one. And then in other, we could put here wait time. And then here 100. And then see down here, it already updates. So if we click update, boom, right? And then now again, up to you, you can send this for payment, or you can just go ahead and charge it, right? So right here, I'm just going to go ahead and charge it. And then on the Visa, charge, right?
Now the client will see that charge on their card. I mean, on the receipt from you, that will say that the price was $295, but you took a half an hour to come out, so it's at $100. So they can't even say, oh no, hell no.
There you go. So then that's what's nice about the price summary. So you can you can open up the price summary here. So yeah, one sec, Joe, I'm going to show the price summary. So one thing you can do is you can view the price summary. So if you click this, the price summary is customer facing. So the customer always sees this. And look, it's very transparent, right? Like you can see all the details you want around pricing.
Okay, yeah.
Right? So like here's that wait time, and then for the trip, and then down here all the payments, right? So like you can see even this $100 payment, then you see the total amount paid, amount due.
Cool.
Yeah.
Now, instead of going to a calculator, Amir, what about you just building another wait time button on there, and then that way, instead of having a percentage or a dollar amount, you have just like you do your hourly, you just put 15 minutes times 25 cents or $1, and it automatically calculates.
Yep.
Yeah, because it does that. They do say that to do that. It's like $25 for every half an hour or every 25 minutes, and so on and so on. I understand what you're saying.
Yep. Exactly.
I was going to say, as a quick suggestion,
yes,
to kind of cover your behind and make sure nothing happens. You can also add something to that effect in your terms and conditions. So something, if they ever like, hey, I'm gonna sue you, it's already in your terms and conditions. So,
yes,
hey,
it is.
Agree to it.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Just to show everybody that, I actually really enjoy, because I've heard a lot of good news from customers that book through this terms and conditions experience, because it's very in the customer's face on the reservation tool and very easy to access. So like here, you could have already in your billing section here. And then like, imagine we would have had here, like wait time is charged at $25 every, 15 minutes. Right. And then in the reservation, right, for the customer, one easy way, by the way, to access that for everyone here is in our menus, we have all of these extra actions. So in the reservation, when you actually have this copy reservation link, so I can copy this, open up a new tab, and then go right into that reservation page the customer sees here. And then you can see right here, view terms and conditions. and it's a really clean, like,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
experience,
yeah, yeah,
right? Like you can't miss it. We're not hiding anything, right? Like as
yeah.
an operator, and they can
Right.
even click through, right, all the different sections, right, and see like, oh, there's a smoking policy, and then they can, I mean, it's right there, right? Very
This part
intuitive.
of this part of the terms and policies, we have to type them in ourselves. We have to put them in ourselves, correct?
Correct. We have some templates. If you're interested, I'd reach out to either your account manager, reach out to us in the web chat. We have some templates that we work with, but every operator has a different interpretation on a lot of these, but we have like a baseline that we could help you with.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And then again, for
Hey,
cancellation,
Mir,
I
well,
love this.
oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I was just going to show everyone this. I, again, love this. Very customer friendly, right? Like a customer can see like how the refund policies work, right? So if I'm looking here and I booked the Gretsch shuttle, right? So it shows here that the Gretsch shuttle, I would get no refund if canceled less than 1 day prior to scheduled trip. I would get a full refund if canceled more than 7 days, right? And you can set these settings in your app so that then there's no way for a customer, right? Like the information is here. They see this. They just click
Oh,
on
you
it.
set that settings in your app or on your
Yeah.
phone.
So here, you would,
Omar, Amir,
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you guys. We have some issues right now through Moves. We try to charge the customers on the credit card, and for some reason, when we put the CVC number, it won't save it, and we try to put the CVC back again, and it won't let us. How are we gonna do that?
Yep. So did you already, what we can do is let me, after this call, let's connect just so that I don't take everyone's time to fix that one right now, but I can help you fix that, that credit card situation. Yep. Yep.
Can I also add some notes actually?
Yeah, of course.
We do try to figure it out because sometimes when we get farm in from clients and we try to put the payout for the driver, it won't show on our end. Why?
So you're saying adding the driver payout to when you receive a ride.
Yes, and that's when we get farm in, like somebody farm out a trip to us, and we want to make sure we want to put the payout for the driver to know how much we're actually paying the driver the end of the week, just to know the numbers. It won't show, even if we do close trip. Why?
Okay.
But if we do the trip from our side, and we put the payout for the driver, and then we close out the trip, it shows that, okay, we got,
Brought that up 2 months ago.
Yep. Yep. So that should be, do you not see it here?
No, I don't see, no, I mean, no. When you go to the,
here.
Yes. So when somebody firm out trips, and we put the payout for the driver, just to have an idea how much we spent, for all these trips.
Yep.
It won't show there, even if we close the trip.
Got it. So let me also, that's a good one to look into after this. So I totally understand. It's
and Mayor, what he's talking about.
Yeah.
What he's talking about when somebody farms in a run to him.
Yep.
He cannot put the driver's pay in there. Is that? I think that's been fixed, right? As far as a farm in.
Well, no, I think what he's saying is that on this payable screen, right, Issa, it's not showing.
Oh, yeah.
No.
That's a whole different.
We can put the payout, but we cannot see it here. So we can collect how much we spent for the driver. Yep. And we have another question also. I don't want to interrupt you guys for all of the things, but this is very important to me. Yep. We do have a lot of dependent contractor drivers.
Yep.
When we go at the vehicles and the drivers, we cannot, you only allow us only one time to put the plate number on the vehicle, but we have so many vehicles that has different plate numbers. How are we gonna preach that to each driver? Otherwise, because customer, they complain and go, that's not the plate number I've been looking for. I've been looking for a different.
You got to build a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. So one of the things that we're doing there, Issa, right now, you do have to build it separately. One of the things that we're working on by the end of the year is a feature that you're going to have vehicle types and vehicle assets, so that then you don't have to, like, if you wanted to have like a generic SUV, right, then you can use that for jobs. But then if you have a specific vehicle with the vehicle license plates, you could create those as well. So right now, of course, you do have to create them individually. Yep.
Hey, Amir, real quick, I'm trying to use your service more with other affiliates. And I had the accounting call me today, asking me for the drop-off information. Obviously, they're not receiving all that information. That's not on. I mean, that goes into what I've asked before, multiple emails for specific notifications, you know. But anyway, make a long story short, on the driver, the you know, the breakdown, you know,
Yep.
what was it called? The driver, where you see the drop off.
The dispatch log, or
Yes, thank you. Can you make that copy to where you can copy it and send it to an affiliate that's specifically asking for drop time information, pickup, detail, drop off information? That way I can just simply go in there and copy it real quick and either email it or text it to them.
Yep. So yeah, you're saying like be able to send this to an operator like that you farmed out to, or you farmed in?
Or they farmed into me, or I farmed out to them. Well,
Yep.
farmed out to them, I'm not worried about because
Exactly, 'cause
they're
it's
going to
their
either
driver.
they're
Yeah.
either a Move affiliate, and I'm going to get that information anyway, or B, it's a non-Move, and they put it in their system, and then their system's automatically going to alert me of the driver's processes. But I'm using your system and have been using it for an affiliate, and they're not getting any notifications. So they constantly text me, Joe, what was the drop time? Joe, what was the pickup drop? So if I can be able to go in there, just simply copy that, slap it in the email, that would be great.
Okay. Really good feature request. I'll definitely send that over to the team. So I think that makes perfect sense, is that when you're farming in rides for other operators, having a better communication system with them around the driver statuses.
Correct. I mean,
Yep.
but that, and then also that goes back to my request about multiple email entry addresses in the contact field, to where, you know, accounting gets invoices and then the customer doesn't. I mean, because it might be an executive, he could care less if he gets the invoice, but accounting, they certainly want it. So
Yep.
therefore, it could go right to accounting instead of the customer or the farm in.
Yep. Got it. Okay.
Or the affiliate or whatever.
Thanks, Joe. And thanks, Issa. Those are some good points. I'll definitely follow up with you guys around some of that vehicle information, maybe best use cases now, and then obviously how we can build it out in the future to obviously make it easier for you guys to manage a lot of these vehicles and independent contractors. And then we'll follow up with you after this meeting around the credit card CVC information. Was there anything else on your guys' end before we're starting to wrap up here?
PDF.
Yep, that's actually that's coming soon, Joe. So we have the team. I just saw some prototypes on that.
Driver payout reports.
Yep, that's also coming soon. We have
Breakdown of each run they did. What do you owe?
Yep. That's going to be a downloadable.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yep. We're going to have a downloadable report for you guys for all of your reservations, driver payouts, affiliate work coming in the next couple of weeks. By the end of the month, we're targeting that.
Are you going to be able to mark off which one you pay the particular driver?
The mark off, we'll be reaching out to you about that. I think that's one of the features that we're thinking about next. So that one is something that we're working on next.
Well, what I want to do is have a check mark next to, so when you go into payouts for drivers, it like if I go to Joe and it says I did 10 runs and it shows me all the runs I did and what I owe him for those particular runs, I can put a check mark on the ones I want to pay.
Yep.
So I want to pay him 5 out of the 10, which will be $500. Say I owe him $1,000, it'd be 500, and then those 5 would be paid, and those would go away. And then when I go back into it again, it would only show the 500 still owed.
Yep.
You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Yep. No, I got it.
Hey, Mr. Adams, how you doing, sir?
Cool. Yeah, I think the last thing I was going to show you, Stephen, was I know you asked about cancellation. So the cancellation policy is here. This is where you create it. And if you want, we can jump into, I would say, reach out to us and we can help you build out the cancellation policies for your vehicles and for your business.
I have it on my other website. I know I'm gonna have to do all the typing myself. So that's once again, we talked about it earlier. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and let us know
Hey,
what we
Amir,
can-
and since we're talking about cancellation real quick, I had a reservation, I cancel it, but it's still in the system and I'm still getting alerts for it. And it doesn't go out of the system and mark it canceled. Is there a way we can just completely cancel it?
You gotta delete it.
Yeah, I think I just want to make sure that everyone is
Just the
also
reservation
canceling.
altogether.
If you just make sure that when
Yeah.
you're canceling, you're doing it through, so this one is closed. If you're doing cancellations, you have the cancellation feature here,
Right.
right? So I think you're doing that, right, Joe?
Well, I do that again. I don't think I've ever,
No worries. So see here, when you actually cancel a trip, you actually want to go to the action items, the action menu bar, and then you actually can cancel it here.
I stand corrected. I apologize. Never seen that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think I mean, if Joe hasn't seen this, maybe not a lot of operators have. So I think everyone should just make sure you know to this feature. It's very helpful. What this does.
Here's one of my customers, 20 years, baby. Right here, 20 years.
We cancel.
He likes the program.
We cancel the trip right here, right? And then this cancels the trip. And then again, right, like what we always think about is the customer. So if you go to the customer side, they'll actually see that it was canceled. And then any payments that are applied to that trip would then be applied as a cancellation fee if you charge for that trip.
Amir, I think you could tell me if I'm wrong, but I think isn't there a different process from canceling a trip rather than canceling a quote? Because for canceling a quote, I don't see anything by cancellation. So usually what I'll do is to kind of actually be able to cancel it, I'll go back into the quote, kind of delete the address, and then it'll allow me to cancel the quote.
Yeah. So you're saying like, yeah, because right now there isn't a way to cancel a quote, and you want, like, you're requesting a feature for a way that you don't want quotes to just be active and reserved, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sometimes they ask for a quote, you send them the quote, and they're not okay with the price, and now you have this quote sitting there, and you know you're not gonna reserve.
Yeah.
I mean, the action that I've kind of found how to do it now is go back into the quote, and delete one of the addresses, and then it'll let me do it. But the issue with that is if you have a client that has for a part of their quote is 5 or 6 different trips, and now you have to go back into each one and kind of cancel it out like that. And I had another question for you. The question that I did have is if a client goes in and puts in a quote on their end, and it's an airport quote, but they don't put like their flight information, they just put the actual airport and where they're going to, will the system automatically give them my zone pricing, or will it kick over and do it as per mile?
Zone. So it should work. So if you have zone pricing set up here for, let's say, like an airport, let's say LAX, right? And then like the zone is around the airport, right? Like this, if the customer goes and uses the airport LAX, it should do that. If it doesn't, then of course there's a bug there, and let us look into that for you.
Okay, because that was one of my biggest concerns, where customers are ordering a airport trip and they're not putting in their flight information, they're just putting in the actual address. My issue was, I was like, are they getting the pricing per mile, or are they getting the pricing for the zone? So now that I know that, I can kind of breathe a little easier about that.
Yeah. So like right now, like example, I created like LAX and Staples, right? And then if I go and make like a route for all these vehicles, I'll make it like a number that we can tell, like the system, regardless if internally or on the customer app, they do the airport part or the address part, it'll still read as the location of LAX.
Okay.
So like, let's see if I can quickly show us here.
And then also with that, is there any way for you to change the change the quote that they've already put on the website, change the quote and have it automatically update the pricing and send it to them? because here in one of the issues here in Houston is Houston has two different major airports.
Yeah.
So we have one in South Houston, one in North Houston, and so sometimes people will get customers, they'll get confused about which airport is which, and each one is, of course, is different pricing. So I wanted to say, if they put IAH, which is George Bush Airport, but they're actually coming from Hobby Airport, which is HOU. If you update it from HOU, is there a way you could automatically update the pricing coming from HOU?
Yep. So down here, you can automatically update it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would recommend, as long as you're pricing and you have a base rate enabled, any updates you make to time, date, pickup, drop off time, down here, this is a very powerful base rate automation. So if you click this, it'll automatically update. And then if you went ahead and changed this to, say, the other airport or another address, right, it'll dynamically, start to it'll know that it needs to recalculate a base rate. See how like it starts to load, right? And then like, obviously this is the max price, so it's calculating max, but it would calculate your rate in your general area.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Good question.
But I think back on that airport that this gentleman just talked about people not putting in their flight information. I think if somehow you in the system, when they put a major airport abbreviation, DFW or whatever, that the system automatically asks for flight information,
Yep.
I think that would be pretty awesome.
Yep. I mean, one of the things that was suggested was in the customer app. I know we have the order type down here, but we could move the order type up here. And if someone does airport pickup or airport drop off, we could automatically change these to the airport, because if it's an airport pickup, then they would have the pickup. And if it's airport drop off, then they can have the airport. Just something that was also requested in terms of the airport information.
That works.
And then the one thing I was just actually trying for you right now is, like, I'm curious if I delete the price. I don't think I can delete it though. If it does anything to the reservation. So, but yeah, that's a good one that I'm going to also add that to the feature request map. Yeah. On how you can deactivate or cancel a quote, because if it's in sent, then the customer can always request. So that's a good one. Thank you.
Hey, Amir.
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask, are you going to incorporate the live location of the driver anytime?
Yeah, that's one of our big, so we have a lot of things that we're working on, like these feature requests, but I can tell you that one of our big initiatives soon is a driver app to enable location tracking for drivers. And then and then to take that into the Moovs dispatch. So then in your dispatch, we'll modify like by trip and then show you the driver's location on a map by each trip in Moovs. We're hoping right now, at a high level, we're hoping to
I would just think about, since you're talking about automation.
Yeah.
Speaking of flights, is there a way that the system can automatically modify the pickup time according to the flight information? So say you got a flight originally was supposed to be in at 6, now it's arriving at 6:30, that the system automatically update the pickup time to 6:30, or vice versa. If it comes in early, the system automatically kicks it back to 5:30 or whatever. That way, you don't have to go in there. Because a driver's going to see 6 o'clock. He's going to get the text message an hour before the run, and the flight's coming in at 5:30 early, and he's not going to have enough time to get there.
Yep. Yep. It's definitely something we're thinking about, Joe. We're thinking about the best way to solve the problem of the drivers not getting insight into the flights being too early or too late. I think where it becomes tough is that there's some operators who will have a pickup time that's different than the actual arrival time of the flight based on baggage claim or international arrivals. So we have a lot of operators who operate that heavily. And so the pickup times are adjusted for that. But regardless, we're thinking about how we can notify drivers of adjustments to the flight information, regardless of the pickup time, more just so that drivers don't show up too early or late for a passenger.
Well, go back to LA. LA gives you an option where you can set it, where if the client specifically says, I'd like to be picked up 15 minutes after my arrival, then you can set it at 15 minutes after arrival. So if the flight lands at 5 o'clock, the driver's instructed to pick up at 5:15, or so on and so on. They can act, they can act 2 hours if they want.
Yep.
So if the
Exactly.
client lands at 5 and he wants to be picked up at 7, you can set it to do that. So anyway,
Awesome.
um,
Thanks, Joe. Cool. So anything else, guys? This was awesome.
Nice.
This was awesome. I enjoyed this. I want to make sure that I answer any last minute questions. We went over, which is always a good sign. So everyone was having fun. So I want to answer any other questions before we jump off. We do want to try to do these more often. So we'll definitely be on the reach. We'll reach out to maybe either in the next couple of weeks, maybe next week. So we'll send everybody emails and then also for feedback on this session. But before we jump, is there any last minute discussions you guys want to have? Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. I miss how you add the airport in the zone deal. Can you show me that real quick?
Yeah. So I can show you, and then I can also, yep. And then what I would recommend is you can reach out to us in the chat here to set up time with one of us. And then we can obviously walk through your whole, base rate automation strategy. But I'll show you real quick, zone-based pricing. The way that this works is you create zones. So to create a zone, you can create a zip code zone and a location zone. So in this case, you could create a location zone based on, let's say, a popular venue. So let's say like the Forum, right? So Great Western Forum, if that's still what it's called. Yeah, the Forum. So
Definitely.
so what you can do here is you can set up a radius, a location zone that says that this is my zone, and I can make the radius smaller or bigger for this area, right? And then when I create this zone, what happens now is that I go and click on the Forum and I see that this is a zone, right? And the way that we think about it is that 2 zones will create a route, and that's how you price your vehicles. And then you can tell Moovs that now if I click on routes, I have 2 routes because I have all these zones. So I can tell Moovs that I want, state LAX to the Forum, for example. I can now come here and add all of the base rate. So this becomes the master override of your system's base rate for all of these vehicles between these 2 locations. So then you can control like set pricing. And you can use this for, let's say, if you have a contract with a hotel, right? Or if you have a specific customer, right? Like a lot of our clients that are VIPs, we want to just give them the same rate. So we can put their home address or their business address to the airport, and then they're always going to get a consistent price, right?
Oh, okay. Okay, that's dope. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So then here you would then go and assign those prices, right? So like for all your different vehicles. And then after you set these prices, you can save. And then now these are the vehicle base rates that'll always show up on the customer app and on your internal Moovs app.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, whether if it's 7 minutes down the street, it costs $95 to go down the street.
There you go. There you go. But then it's up to you. You can control that. And then again, the other pricing that we have, which is that the transfer and the hourly, right? But the nice thing about zone base is you get control, right? Like there's no surprises with base rate. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Hopefully everyone got some good news out of this, some good updates on how to use Moovs. I'm excited to continue doing these sessions and sharing. We'll be on the reach out after this email, and then just feel free to reach out to us through the chat here and let us know if there's anything we can obviously continue to help with. We really appreciate you guys, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everybody.
Thank you.
Be blessed, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
I'm here if you have the time, just call us.
I will.